first of all say that it is just about 10 years.
Do you propose to share your time?
I'm sharing my time with Deputy Burton.
You're taking 20 minutes, is it?
Yeah, approximately. You might tell me when it's 50. Last Concurla, it's just about 10 years since 3 programs, States of Fear, appeared on television. And when they appeared, the reaction was entirely different to what we are witnessing this week in terms of the Ryan report. Because much of the reaction was to assemble the forces that had so successfully denied every assertion of abuse for a number of decades. One could go back and say that when the Kennedy report appeared, there was a special conference at which those who were involved as the running the institutions which where the perpetrators lived had been sheltered, they decided that they had been treated unfairly. The Irish public had been insufficiently grateful to them for all they had contributed to Irish society. So there is something new about this universal apology that is appearing this week. But I have to say that it is of the utmost importance that the occasion of this debate should not be used as an opportunity for further evasion. An evasion that I believe has been unjust, immoral, and if it were to happen again, would be a degradation of the parliamentary process. And it is interesting what has happened in those decades in between as the facts of the abuses in different institutions came out about what happened. It didn't stop religious orders going to the market with their land. It didn't stop an order, for example, exhuming the bodies of 133 Magdalene women so that you could clear the ground so that it could be sold on the market because they had lost money investing in shares in GPA. That's in states of fear. That's in Suffer the Little Children. Now, I think it's time for us to recognize then the necessity of what is there in terms of the historical record. We need a clear acceptance by all sides of this House of the importance of the record being set straight in relation to the opportunities that were there that weren't responded to. Reference has been made to Mannix Flynn. I don't recall an all-party, all-consensus motion following the publication of Nothing to Say. I don't recall Conservative politicians in this House saying that when they heard Patrick Galvin's song for a Raggedy Boy, saying that this is scandalous, that this must have happened. And I don't recall even today, in the day of the universal apology, that is in danger of being diluted so thin that it serves as a mask for something else. And that is this in relation to it. What kind of assumptions create the notion that the body is sinful, that those who are celibate are uniquely better for caring for children than married people? What about these assumptions? Where do they lie as an assertion of an authoritarian religion that can defeat spirituality itself? We're not as far as discussing that yet, because the abuse of authority, the notion that you can protect yourself at all costs, you protect the authoritarian abuse, and then you protect the property, and then with hours or days left, when it's knocked out of you, you begin to say, well, we have an apology available now. I'm not conned by that, because 40 years ago next week, I stood for election for the first time as a young person in my late 20s. And on every occasion, in every election, always I saw the possibility that was always there, that you would be accused of being simply anti-church. And indeed it is no credit to the former Taoiseach, Bertie Ahern, that only last week he was at it again, saying that those who wanted to revisit the proper contribution that the orders should make were somehow or another anti-Catholic. Shame on him! It is a disgraceful suggestion to make. I think, frankly, in relation to this then, for me, there is nothing new in the Ryan report. But also after I came into this House, decent people on all sides. Mostly I was over here. Some briefly I was over there. But I noticed good colleagues would be afraid of saying something that might upset the church.